Well, hello and welcome to Up North Live Unscripted. Let's go ahead and bring in Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix because, Joe, you have got the answers that everyone wants to know because we've heard a lot of people talking about the S word as we head into this weekend. Of course, we're talking about snow.
Yeah, I hope I have the answers. We're doing the best we can.
You always have the answers.
Yeah, we try to do the best we can. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a little cold this weekend. Well, it is the coldest temperatures we've had all season long coming in. With a lot of highs, low and mid 30s the next few days. And so that'll set up the chance for some snow. That being said, this is not a big storm or anything like that coming in. But some areas, especially in a few of the lake effect areas, could see 2, 3, 4 inches of snow perhaps Sunday or Saturday night through Sunday and perhaps into Monday. So we'll look at that. We'll kind of throw some numbers out there in terms of snow accumulation. And then we'll look ahead into next week. Of course, Tuesday is Veterans Day. A few things going on for that. We'll take a look at the weather for that day as well a little later.
All right. Thank you, Joe, for that preview. And snow means we are heading into some of our winter months. And a good sign of that is today was the official kickoff of the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. People from the community were there this morning, including, you can see, our Up North Live News Today team. The fundraising goal this year is $275,000. And there are several ways you can help those in need, including donating money. You can ring a bell and shopping for a teenager through the Teen Angel program. You can reach out to your local Salvation Army for more information about volunteering opportunities. And so that's what we did. We reached out to our local Salvation Army here in Traverse City, and we have Major Alan Hellstrom here with us tonight. Major, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, tell us a little bit about the big kickoff this morning. How was it?
Oh, I think the kickoff went very well. We had a nice group of people around us. We had some of our advisory board members. We had, of course, Brendan Kinney was there and gave a speech. We had George Chichester from Williams Chevrolet, and we had representatives from Traverse City Connect, ribbon cutting, and we had Santa there as well. And we were giving out cookies and donuts, and Santa was giving out candy canes, and that bell was ringing.
Well, it sounds like it was definitely a good time. And we are going to have some more bell ringing opportunities throughout the season because, as we know, as we head into the holidays, the Red Kettle campaign is a pretty big deal. Everybody knows that iconic Red Kettle, right?
Oh, yes. When you think of Christmas and you look at a lot of holiday type movies, you will see some depiction of the Salvation Army or a kettle or some of our brass bands and a lot of the iconic movies from through the ages display the Salvation Army because we are part of Christmas.
Mm-hmm. And Major, obviously, every year it is important to volunteer in any way that you can or donate with one of those red kettles. But as we go into the holidays this year, we've got a lot of things going on. We've got a federal government shutdown. We've got some SNAP benefits that are a little bit up in the air. Why now more than ever is it important to participate in this campaign?
Yes, we help people every single day. We have our meal program. We have our food market. We have our food pantry. We help with our Good Neighbor program, which is rental and utility and other type of economic assistance. We have youth programs, like our archery program ran in October, will run again next year. Day camp in the summertime. And of course, we have our Christmas relief at Christmas and Thanksgiving.
And I believe we just read a second ago that the fundraising goal for this year, at least with the Salvation Army for Traverse City, is $275,000. How did you guys arrive at that number? What will that help with?
Well, just like any budget, we crunch the numbers, look at last year, and project for the new year, and that's where our number comes from. And so you think about that, and that money goes to help support all of these programs that I was talking about. At Christmas time, we have our Thanksgiving meal, we have our Christmas meal, and of course, we have our Angel Tree and Teen Angel. Last year, we helped with Thanksgiving meals. 301 meals were served. We had 206 baskets or boxes of food that we gave out for Thanksgiving. And for Christmas, we served 230 meals, and we helped 555 kids last year. We do believe that we will have higher numbers this year. We've already started the sign up for our Christmas programming. People can go to saangeltree.org to sign up. You go to our portal or website and you put in your zip code and you just follow the directions. And then we will send you an email instructing you to fill out another form to tell us about your food box or your teen angels and their desires.
So what I'm hearing is you guys do have a lot of different volunteer opportunities during this time of year, and not just for ringing the bell, which I think is what a lot of people think about, right?
Oh, yes. Well, ringing the bell, of course, we're at 14 different locations in the 3 counties, Leelanau, Benzie, and Grand Traverse. So that's kind of our number one goal, but we do need volunteers to help sort food, to sort toys, to help give things, to help with our distribution, to help with our meals. And so people can get a hold of us and help and volunteer.
And for some of those volunteer opportunities, we are specifically talking about the Red Kettle season, of course. How can people reach out and make sure their name is on the list to be able to volunteer, or say, hey, I want to be one of those people outside Tom's West Bay that is ringing the bell for a certain period of time?
Yes. Probably the best way is during our business hours, call 231-946-4644, or you can go to our Facebook and sign up through there, or our website, which is just type in the Salvation Army Traverse City and it will guide you to our website. And there will be different portals, different places to sign up. One of the most important is registertoring.com. That is one whole word, registertoring.com. And you can see where we have openings at different kettle sites, and you can sign up right through the online portal. And it's pretty easy. If you're part of a group, a church, a service club, any kind of book club or kind of gathering, or maybe your family would like to come out, or just a bunch of friends from work, you could sign up as a group or as individuals. And I'm going to tell you, I was out there today from, right after our kickoff till 11 o'clock. So I was outside from 9 to 11 this morning, and it wasn't too bad. Great flow of traffic of people. And me and Santa, my partner, we were having a lot of fun today.
I love it. Definitely making it a team effort for sure. Well, Major, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Up North Live Unscripted and talking about this season of giving.
Yes, thank you, Allie.
All right, well, we're moving on now to one of our top stories tonight. Northern Michigan airports are not immune to the government shutdown impact. While the FAA ordered the flight reductions at 40 large airports, the ripple effect does make its way to smaller regional airports as well. Cherry Capital Airport serves some of those larger airports with direct flights, and while today flights were running smoothly for the most part, airport CEO Kevin Klein encourages travelers to get connected in order to avoid any surprises.
The big thing that we're telling passengers is, one, the airlines will know what flights are going to be adjusted faster than the airports. So you're going to get notifications from your reservation on the airline app. So make sure you've downloaded the airline app for your flight. Email would be another source of communication that they would put out to let you know.
And while the FAA reduction right now in flights is 4%, it will increase to 10% next week. Klein says right now they are anticipating any possible delays or issues primarily with flights to those hubs, but it could expand to other airlines and destinations. And this does relate to our question of the day today. We're asking, are you concerned about your travel plans being impacted by the government shutdown? We know we're getting into the holiday season as well. Maybe some of you have already bought those tickets for those flights. So you can go ahead and scan that QR code on your screen. Right now, 43% of people say yes, they are concerned about their travel plans being impacted. 57% say no, they're not concerned about their plans being impacted. And we'll take a look at the results of that a little bit later as well. Well, the safety of Great Lakes freighters came into focus in the immediate aftermath of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and it continues to be a focal point 50 years later. Our Brendan Kenny looked into the changes made to protect lives and property as a piece of the Fitzgerald's legacy.
The lives lost aboard the Edmund Fitzgerald are honored and remembered by multiple generations. Brendan Falkowski, who was born decades after the sinking, has spent most of his life digging into the history of the Fitzgerald.
She would have been one of the more luxurious vessels as well at that time, even though they were working ships.
Brendan is studying naval architecture and marine engineering at the University of Michigan. He also created the Shipwatcher News website.
She was one of the larger vessels on the Great Lakes. At the time she was launched, she was the largest vessel and set a number of cargo records throughout her career. They would have had guest quarters on board for carrying corporate guests, for entertaining company guests.
Travis Martin is on the front line when it comes to designing ships that'll protect crew members and get the job done safely and efficiently. Travis is an engineer and president of Bay Engineering in Wisconsin. He says his company's bread and butter is Great Lakes ship design. His team also supports production.
There's always a conscientiousness and continuous development in the requirements to make sure that we're sending out the crews on the safest vessels that are feasible.
Design criteria is in place to make a vessel more survivable, allowing the crew more time to recognize there is a safety concern and get off the ship. The U.S. Coast Guard implemented stricter training requirements for crews. They need to know where life-saving devices are and how to launch them and use them. Immersion suits are now a requirement for vessels to carry on board. They protect against hypothermia. There are requirements to carry distress beacons that can float on the surface of the water. Travis and Brendan also point to advancements in weather forecasting the past 50 years, giving crews advanced warning to stay away from storms. Do you think a ship built today could withstand the storm that the Edmund Fitzgerald was going through?
That's a question. I would say that yes, for a number of factors. One, it's going to be loaded less conservatively. It's going to be built more survivable. I think even if something happened where it didn't survive, there's enough safety that safety's built in.
Travis points to a freefall lifeboat aboard the Mark W. Barker. This is the first U.S.-built Great Lakes bulk carrier in nearly 40 years. Travis's firm was the principal designer of that freighter. He says you get on the lifeboat, push a button, and crews are safely taken off the ship.
There hasn't been a sinking in over 50 years, and there's a reason for that. I think in part due to some of the improvements in design standards and operational standards that were implemented at that time. It's up to me and many others to make sure it doesn't happen again, and we take that very seriously every day.
Those in the shipping industry are keeping safety at the forefront of their work and remembering the lives lost 50 years ago.
It's just important to have respect for the families and those involved, and especially for what they had to go through. It's always tough losing people, but especially to lose people in a way where you don't understand what happened and why.
For UpNorthLive News, I'm Brendan Kinney.
And Monday marks 50 years since the Fitzgerald sank. That day, we'll have a half-hour special on our YouTube page at 7 o'clock. We look back on the freighter's life and its legacy. We're going to go ahead and head into our first commercial break now. When we come back, we're going to check in with Joe Charlevoix about what kind of wintry weather we can be expecting this weekend.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Welcome back to Up North Live Unscripted. Let's go ahead and hand things over to meteorologist Joe Charlevoix. Joe, a lot of us are going to be looking to the skies this weekend because we have heard that we may have some snow chances, but you're saying let's maybe take a minute and look at exactly what kind of chances we have.
Yeah, we live in northern Michigan, so this is not going to be a major deal, but it is the first snow of the season.
Right.
And of course, you throw a couple inches of snow down, you haven't driven in it for 6 months, something like that.
Yeah. A little stressful, just a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll get into that, how much is on the way. As far as any warnings and advisories, that's it. There's nothing for the lower peninsula. The purple shaded areas are they will be under a winter weather advisory. And that, for our viewing area, does include Luce County and Newberry. So a winter weather advisory, now this does not actually start until 7 o'clock tomorrow night through Monday night at 7 o'clock. So this encompasses Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday for the eastern UP, at least Luce County. And then you can see there's nothing else really anywhere. And you might wonder, well, I thought there's a lot of snow coming in. There's some. It's just not going to be extremely, heavy or noteworthy. A look over the Mackinac Bridge tonight. We've had some rain actually crossing through here at times. A live look there on a Friday night. A little more traffic than usual. I can tell we're heading into the weekend coming up here. We had an area of low pressure pass by. That sits east of us tonight. That brought in some rain late last night into early this morning. And behind that now, a little push of cooler air, and that's going to kick off a little bit of lake effect rain. There's not a lot out there. What's coming down here is pretty light, but you can see some of these showers now from near Ludington, north of Manistee, approaching Big Rapids, around the Houghton Lake area, north of Grayling, around Gaylord to Petoskey. This is all light lake effect rain. And it's falling as rain because temperatures here are in the 40s. And then up here around Marquette, that's where we have more in the way of snow, where it's a little bit cooler this evening. I still think tonight and tomorrow we're not going to get a whole lot of snow, mostly cloudy skies, a couple passing snow showers at times tomorrow. Not a huge deal. And then Sunday night, some lake effect snow will kick in, but especially near the shoreline of the Great Lakes with kind of a northeast wind. And then the wind at Sunday night into Monday turns more out of the north, and that'll push a lot of this lake effect snow closer to the lakeshore. I do think there will be periods of sunshine too, intermingled between some of these snow showers. And here's what everyone wants to see, the potential snowfall forecast map. Between now and tomorrow night, a lot of zeros. Not going to be a lot of snow between now and tomorrow night, maybe up to an inch north of Newberry. And there we are. There's the snowfall totals through Sunday. And a couple spots, mainly near Lake Michigan, north from Ludington up to the bridge, 2 to 4 inches is possible for some of those spots there. All right, here's the extended forecast. And Tuesday's Veterans Day, maybe a rain or snow shower, pretty quiet though. And then rain and snow showers hanging on into next week. You can tell we're kind of in early and mid-November here, weather a little more active, Allie.
Yeah, for sure. It is the season for sure, especially to check in on some of that lake effect rain and snow. All right. Well, thank you, Joe, for that forecast. And as we head into our next commercial break, a reminder to vote in our question of the day for those of you joining us online. That will come up in a QR code in just a moment. Welcome back to Up North Live Unscripted. Let's go ahead and bring in Sports Director Harrison Beebe now, joining us live from, I'm sure, his car. But Harrison, you are at a very special location tonight. You are in Kingsley at Rhodes Field for some playoff football action.
That's right. There is way too much noise going on the field right now. The teams are running out there, so you guys would not be able to hear me if I was not in closed surface at the moment. That tends to be the benefit of having a vehicle at the live sporting events here when there's going to be a ton of noise made. Allie, Traverse City versus Kingsley. This is one of the great rivalries in Northern Michigan football the last 7 years. So much so, let's go ahead and look at the last time these two met in the playoffs back in November of 2018. I remember it well. I covered the game at Thurlby Field. It was the regional round of the postseason, so a round later than we are meeting here tonight. But man, snow from the get-go, and we know we've got snow in the forecast this weekend, but that Friday night at Thurlby, it was a snow out, a snowball, all of your snow puns rolled into one, including the snowballs. And yeah, it was an unbelievable experience to cover that game. I've been in a fair share of snow games, but that one at night with the lights was pretty cool. So this is only the second meeting since then for the playoffs for these two. And should be a pretty good one. The game in the regular season was a 1-point game. St. Francis was up 2 touchdowns here at Rhodes Field where Kingsley plays. And then the Stags came back and almost won. They went for a 2-point conversion. If they'd have made that, they would have won the game. They were denied on that 2-point conversion, so they lost. If they would have kicked that extra point, it would have gone to overtime potentially. But St. Francis was able to hang on and win that. What looked like a comfortable win for them turned into a real dramatic experience down the stretch. But the rematch is here and now, and only one of these teams advanced to the regional round next week, and they both have high hopes of going to Ford Field in the state championship game, but only one's going to still be able to do that by the end of tonight.
Well, Harrison, real quick here, we have about 30 seconds left together. What are some other matchups that you have your eye on tonight?
Glen Lake East Jordan's going to be a good one. That was a 2-point game. You're going to be packing your bags, heading to that one in just a few minutes. And Ethan Foreman, our weekend weather guy, he's down at Onekama and Gaylord St. Mary. And that I'm expecting a lot of points to be scored in that game. Gaylord St. Mary scored 84 last week in their opening playoff win, and Onekama is one of the best in a player. So I'm really excited to see what happens in those two games as well. I wish I could be at those games, but this one is obviously pretty important as well.
All right. Well, Harrison, thanks for joining us. And you'll have those highlights for us tonight at 11 for one of our last hometown highlights. We're getting further and further along into the playoff action. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and head into our last commercial break here. When we come back, we'll be checking in on the results of our question of the day.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Welcome back to Up North Live Unscripted. Let's take a look at the results of our question of the day. Are you concerned about your travel plans being impacted by the government shutdown? 43% of people saying yes, 57% of people saying no. We do have quite a few people chiming in on this. Barb saying my daughter's work conference in Miami was canceled because they had people coming from all over. A lot of people saying they aren't concerned because they will choose to drive anyways. Well, thanks for joining us tonight for Up North Live Unscripted. We'll see you back here tonight at 11.